What is up? It's your girl Alysia back with another video. How are you doing? Because I'm doing great. And as you can see by the title, y'all, today we are about to be getting into K-pop. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Now, I don't really talk a lot about K-pop on this channel, but if y'all have been on this channel for a while, y'all would know that I do love K-pop. I've been a K-pop fan since 2018. Now, am I like one of the biggest K-pop fans in the world? I get down with all the get down? No. I'm more of like here or there type of K-pop listener. Like, I'll listen to a K-pop group if I like them. I'll listen to a K-pop song if I like it, but I'm not like a super big K-pop fan. And honestly, I was wondering why I stopped kind of being a K-pop stan. And that is for a couple of reasons that we're going to get into in today's video. If y'all want to check out my other K-pop content, y'all can watch my cat's eye videos. I don't know, sometimes people don't consider cat's eye K-pop. I consider cat's eye K-pop adjacent, but honestly, if we want to keep it 100 and a buck, cat's eye is a K-pop group. Fight with your granny. But no, if y'all want to watch that, y'all can, but we will be getting into more K-pop content on this channel. So if you want me to react to any K-pop songs, groups, talk about K-pop in general, I got you. Comment down below. But I want to get into why I feel like K-pop is boring now. Yeah, I'll say it. K-pop is boring. And I feel like it's for a couple reasons. I feel like the first reason is we're recycling the same things. We're reheating the same nachos. Genuinely. And I started noticing this, like this little pattern. And I feel like, honestly, it didn't start with this. This had a very heavy influence on it. And I feel like it's gnarly. They truly didn't lie when they said everything is gnarly. Like, when I say after gnarly, every K-pop group and their mama has been trying to recreate that really odd, abstract sort of sound. And I feel like a perfect example of that is yall. Like one of like the greatest examples, but we can even dig further. K-pop is always going to try and chase the next best trend and the next best thing. Hence, pop is in the name. Pop is in the name. Pop just stands for popular. So anything that is popular, they're going to try and emulate and replicate. And I feel like it almost gives a lot of these groups a disservice when they have started their career with a certain sound and they deviate from that sound because they see another group as being popular for their sound. And gnarly is one of the biggest examples, but I can also say too, like New Jeans. When I say everybody and their mama was trying to sound like New Jeans, there was no group that wasn't trying to sound like New Jeans, even cat's eye for a moment, But I feel like that their entertainment was like, oh, like this does not fit the girls. And I think that's what my problem is. My problem isn't just that these companies are trying to rip off each and every other K-pop group style. It's that it doesn't fit the group members that they currently have. It doesn't. For example, I think yall is one of the biggest examples. Yall kind of had that like New Jeans soft girl aesthetic, and it worked for them as a group. It felt natural. It felt like this is what they're supposed to be doing. And now they're singing Who's Your Bias? I'm Your Bias. Like, I'm so sorry. And I know a lot of people like that song, and honestly, it grew on me, but it gives me a gnarly situation. Like, everybody wants to sound like gnarly. Everybody wants a viral moment like gnarly. Everybody wanted a viral moment like New Jeans. It kind of pulls from the authenticity of the group members and what could fit their style. I think what makes you great as a K-pop group is when you cultivate an aesthetic of your own. But that takes me to a point of K-pop has never cultivated an aesthetic of its own. And that might ruffle feathers, but it has to be said. K-pop is heavily inspired by Black culture, and it always has been. If you look at anything that K-pop has done and is doing, it's always ripped from Black culture. That's not to say that K-pop hasn't made a lane for its own, but it's made a lane for its own by ripping off of another culture. That just is what it is. Let's just do a little history lesson, okay? We're not going to dig really deep into it unless y'all want me to do that in another video. That's not really what we're doing in this video. But every genre has ripped from Black culture. Every genre. Rock and roll is derived from Black culture. Pop music was derived from Black culture. Country music is derived from Black culture. Fight with your granny, I don't care. I don't care. So usually every genre is derived from Black culture, but I feel like K-pop has done it in a way where it's completely, like when I say completely, I just saw this video of a comparison between a lot of the things that K-pop artists do and implement into their style that Michael Jackson has done way before these groups were ever thought of. If I find the clip, I'll insert it. I thought that was so crazy.
So, are we supposed to act like the Jackson 5 and New Edition don't exist? This is literally New Jack Swing, created by black artists. It's a fusion of hip-hop beats with R&B vocals. Not to mention the irony of saying the K-popification of Michael Jackson when photo cards literally came from Motown. With that being said, I'm genuinely baffled at how some K-pop stars are so willfully ignorant and dismissive toward the black community, whose music and culture literally dominate the world. Let's just call it for what it is. K-pop is heavily inspired and copies off from black culture, musically, visually, culturally. There's no denying that when there's so much evidence and timeline backing it up. The problem is we need to give credit where it's due, actually acknowledging it, instead of dismissing black people's influence. You don't have to discredit black artists to uplift your faves. Black people are literally the blueprint, and that's not a bad thing to acknowledge. It's actually a good thing to recognize their influence and support them instead of denying it. Because at the end of the day, denying it is just disrespectful and contributes to erasing their culture and identity.
There's a lot of intellectual people that will break it down and really give y'all the full deep dive of K-pop ripping off of black culture, but I'm really using that as a talking point to bring it back to nothing is original in K-pop, and that's why I think I'm getting bored. Like, I feel like everything is starting to sound like the next group. Nothing's sounding like, oh, we made this our own. And here is my thing, and I've always said this, and I want y'all to know this. I don't think reheating nachos is inherently a bad thing. A lot of people talk about it like it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it only becomes a negative thing when you have no individuality of your own. When you're reheating nachos, but it's the exact same nachos. You haven't put new toppings on the nachos. It's just that person's nacho. If you do it right, I'm okay with it. If you do it right, I'm fine with it. Because at least, yes, you're pulling from something, but everything's pulled from everybody. Nothing's new under the sun. Nothing's new under the sun. So nothing's going to be 100% original. And I do want to say that. Not everything's going to be 100% original. But when you are doing it in such a way where it's like almost copy and paste, it starts to feel unauthentic to who you are. And I think that's what these companies are not understanding, is you have to use an aesthetic, you have to use a sound, you have to use a vibe that makes sense for your group members. I think a perfect example of this is XG. Now, people can try use my argument of like, aren't they ripping off of black culture and then aren't they ruined? Yes. But they're doing it in a way, and I'm not trying to justify it. But XG as a collective, as a group, as an aesthetic, is doing something that makes sense for their brand. It makes sense for every individual girl. It feels unique. It feels like this is what they're supposed to be doing. Now imagine if XG was doing something like a New Jeans. That wouldn't make sense. That type of aesthetic, that type of sound, that type of vibe would not make sense for that group. It just wouldn't, because that's not the type of girls that they are. They could try and shove that down their throats and try and make them fit in that type of aesthetic and type of vibe. It's just not gonna fit. It's not gonna make sense. It's not gonna make sense. We need to start having original concepts and original pieces for these girls, period. By tomorrow. It is so evident within a lot of these girl groups that their company is just trying to chase virality, and it's starting to get a little annoying. I'm not even gonna lie. I think every genre of music does this, but I feel like it's heavy in the K-pop community. I feel like 9 times out of 10, if I hear a song, it's going to sound like another song that I already heard of. Nothing's new, nothing's fun, nothing's fresh. And I think that is one of the biggest reasons I believe K-pop is starting to sound boring to me. I'm not saying K-pop is a dying art form, because I think I've heard people say that. I don't think K-pop is dying off, but I definitely do believe we've seen a decrease in K-pop music recently, like versus back in the day where all people could talk about was K-pop. We're losing that synergy around K-pop, and I think the only reason K-pop saw a resurgence was because of K-pop Demon Hunters. It brought back that bubbly feeling you get when you think about K-pop and you listen to the music. It brought back that feeling. It brought back that authentic love for it, because obviously K-pop Demon Hunters appealed to a lot of kids. It was so big to the point where I feel like it appealed to everybody. Even though it was a kids movie, it appealed to a vast majority of people that love K-pop, because it brought the energy that comes with K-pop to the big screen. And I think that's something that we're missing. Segueing into my next point. Y'all see how good I'm getting at? Y'all see how good I'm getting at this? K-pop has become way too westernized. It's become way too westernized. Even though K-pop has taken a lot of Black culture and made it its own. Okay? Even though that has happened, there is a lot of elements of K-pop that are Korean. Why are we taking away the only thing that made K-pop Korean? Because if we take away the Korean, we're just left with westernized music, which that's what it always was to begin with. K-pop Demon Hunters, it allowed us to engulf ourselves in the world of K-pop in a way that we haven't in a long time, because we're so used to K-pop trying to be westernized. And I had this feeling a long time ago. I had this feeling when BTS put out Butter. That's when I knew we are taking a turn for the worse. And again, because K-pop is not original, everybody followed suit after that. When I say everybody followed suit, everybody's making westernized sounding music, dropping the Korean in their music. Specifically, and y'all know, I love Blackpink with my whole heart. If this is my heart, okay? If this is my heart, all this onwards is Blink. But I'll keep it 100 with y'all. That EP that they put out is not K-pop. Why is it like 20% Korean and 80% English? Don't piss me off. Jisoo only got like 10% of lines in that EP, and that's being generous. Why? Because she doesn't speak English, one. So if the whole EP is English, of course she's not going to have any lines, because she doesn't speak English. All the girls in the group speak Korean. Are all the girls in the group Korean? No, but still, they speak Korean. So why are we giving the girls English songs, English lyrics? You might as well just call them pop girls. They're just pop girls. This might ruffle some feathers. It must be said. It must be said. Why is everything so westernized? I give Cat's Eye a pass because they are a K-pop adjacent group. So they are a Western group and a K-pop group. So them not singing in Korean makes sense because they're a global girl group. They're not a Korean group. Blackpink is a K-pop group. BTS is a K-pop group. It takes from the fact that this is supposed to be a subculture all on its own. It's a subculture. Yet you take the only thing that makes it that, and now it's just grouped in with westernized music. That's just is what it is. We're taking everything that made it special and everything that made it unique. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let me say this. I'm not saying that K-pop groups can't sing in English, because I think they can. No, there's no rule book saying that they can't. But when the song is 80% English and 20% Korean, it's just an English song with some Korean lyrics. It's not K-pop. I think a group that I feel has stayed true to their sound and true to their aesthetic and vibe is Mamamoo. That's a group where I feel like we haven't lost the plot. I think a lot of these groups have lost the plot. And it's not really the group, it's the company. Because the company is like, oh, well, I think, and I could be completely wrong, but I believe that K-pop has started going in a Western direction because they realized a lot of Western people were interested in the music. When it just stayed in Korea and it just stayed in Asian culture, there was no force of action to make it more westernized for Western audiences because there wasn't a lot of them. And for example, I will say this. When I first got into K-pop, Blackpink is obviously a Korean speaking girl group or a Korean singing girl group. So a lot of the stuff was in Korean, but there was a lot of Japanese versions. And I believe there was a lot of Japanese versions because there was a lot of Japanese audiences for K-pop music. Even though they're not Korean, they still enjoy K-pop songs. So what did they do? They made Japanese versions so that people in Japan could also listen to the music and understand what they're saying. So what did they do? They also had English versions too. But I think when they realized that there is a big market for K-pop in Western groups and areas, they start making English music. They start making English music because there was a audience for it. What the companies don't understand is it doesn't have to be in English for us to enjoy it. It doesn't have to sound like everything we already have here. And I think that is a big reason too why I just kind of pull back from listening to K-pop, because it's like, if I'm gonna get a K-pop song that sounds exactly like a song that I can already listen to, that is already coming from my fave, I'm going to listen to it from my fave than listen to it from a group that I don't know of yet, you know, because I haven't expanded my horizons outside of the like 5 groups that I listen to, because they are making music that sounds like something I could get from a person I already listened to. It's about how the music makes you feel, and that's why I think a lot of people enjoyed K-pop Demon Hunters, because it didn't lack the essence of K-pop music. It didn't lack the essence of what makes K-pop so special. They kept those elements. Did they incorporate English cheer from there? Yes, they did. However, it didn't feel like a Western movie disguising itself as K-pop. It didn't feel that way. It felt authentic. So that's why I feel like K-pop is starting to become boring and something needs to give. Point 1 being, let's try and be more authentic. Yes, we see the other girl groups thriving from this sound. That doesn't mean we have to give our girl groups that sound. And then 2, not everything has to be so westernized all the time. Yeah. But that has been the video, y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Like always, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.